Okay, today we will see the concept of inheritance. So before going to see the concept of inheritance, we have to see some of the examples regarding this inheritance concept. So in that, first one is we have to understand clearly about the concept of class, and we have to know about object in detail so that we can go to the concept of inheritance. Okay, so first let us discuss what is meant by a class and what it contains and what is the need of creating an object. So what is the use of a class? See here, I am going to consider a class called as A. So in this class, we are going to have some properties like methods and data. So here I am going to take one method called as M1. So this is one method I am having inside a class A, and here we are having some definition, and here we are having some method called as M2, and here we are having some definition. Now this is a class which is having two methods. If I want to access these two methods, how I can access? We can access by using an object. So we have to create an object of that particular class. So here what I have to write? A equal to A I have to write. Now this A, small a, is which type of object? It is type of class A type. So otherwise just I will take X. So X is an object of class A type. So it is going to get what? X is, for X we are going to get two methods, that is what? M1 and M2. To access these two methods, I can use this object, that is I can call by using X, that is X dot M1, or we can say X dot M2. So by using these two statements, I can access the members of class A. So who can access the members of class A? Only the objects that are belonging to that class. That is nothing but, in this case, X is an object of class A type. So only that particular object can access M1 and M2. If we want to create one more object like X1, if it is belonging to A, that means what? It is also object of type A. So for this X1 also two methods are available. That one is, those are M1 and M2. So by using this X1 also I can access M1 and M2. So here we have to observe what? In a class we can have some methods. To access those methods I have to create an object. Okay, so now let us go to the concept of inheritance. So before going to inheritance, just I will take a real-time example. So just I will take father and son scenario here. So first I will take father and son. Okay, we can also call it as a parent, and here we can consider it as a child. Now father is having some gold, father is having some money. Let us consider he is having some 2 crore rupees, and he is having some 5 kg gold, and he is having his own business. Son has completed his BTech, only he has completed his BTech. Now he want to keep his own business. So to keep his own business, he has to establish everything he has to establish on his own. It may take time, 2 years time, it may take some 2 years time, and he want some 2 crores money, for example. To to gain 2 crores money, it will take nearly 10 to 20 years for this son. Okay, and he wants some 2 kgs gold or 5 kgs gold he want, so it will take nearly 30 years to him. Okay, so the requirements of this particular son is what? He require business, he requires some 2 crore money or 1 crore money, so he requires some 4 kgs of gold. So what is the need of again wasting these many years? That is what? 20 years, 22 years, and total 50 or 60 years he has to wait to get all these things, because he has to start the business and he has to earn the money and he has to buy the gold and he has to save the money so that he can get all these things. After 50 years he will get. So what is the need of wasting all these times? Already all these things are available with his father. Just he can take all these, son can take all these properties from the father. There is no problem, because there is a relationship between these two, that is what? Father and son. So whatever the properties that are available with the father can be used by the son, okay, in a real time. So no need of keeping his own business, because already it is there with his father. So he will, now he will act as a owner to this one. Now Next, he wants some 2 crore money. Already with his father it is available, so he can use it. Next, already 5 kg gold is there, he can access 4 kg gold, there is no problem. Then whatever here, what we have to observe, whatever the properties that are available with the father, now those properties can be accessed by the son. This concept is called as inheritance. But here one thing we have to observe, that thing is what, if here whatever the father is having, if the son is having same thing, what is the new thing here we are going to have? Here additionally son is having what? B.Tech. That means, just I will take a small example here. So same scenario I am taking. Father is having 2-stair building. Father is having 2-stair building, and now his age is 65. So he is going to retire now, and this property is going to be given to son. So son want to construct 3-stair building. Son want to construct what? 3-stair building. What he will do? Will he collapse this building and he will construct a new building? No. He is going to use this one. He is going to use the same building, and he is going to construct 3rd floor. That means what? He is going to use already available functionalities, and he is going to extend the properties. That means whatever the properties he has taken from the father, he is going to use that, and additionally whatever the properties that is required by the son is going to be added here. So son is having what? 3-stair building. Before father is having what? Only 2-stair building. What son has done? Additionally he has constructed one more a floor here. Okay, this concept is called as what? Inheritance. Once again I'm repeating. So concept of inheritance is acquiring the properties of one to another. So in our object oriented programming, one to another is nothing but we can consider from one class to another class, one class to another class, acquiring the properties of one class by another class or one class to another class is called as inheritance. Or we can also consider acquiring the properties of one object by another object. This is also concept of inheritance. There is no problem, we can consider any of the definitions. Here main thing what we have to understand, what is meant by acquiring the properties, what is the need of acquiring the properties. Now I will tell that scenario now. Okay, so what is the need? That is, if I take a small program here, that is class A, I am going to take. Here I am having 4 methods, M1, M2, M3 and M4. So totally for each and every method we are having 10,000 lines, or sorry, 1,000 lines. Here 1,000 lines are there, here 500 lines are there, here 250 lines are there. So totally we are having 2,750 lines for this class A. Okay, now let us consider this is about calculator program. So here this is method 1 is for addition, this is for subtraction, this is for multiplication, and this is for division. Now this is a program already I have written for calculator. Now I want to develop a scientific calculator. Now I want to develop what? Scientific calculator. Scientific calculator. Now what I have to do? So again in scientific calculator also all these properties are available. That means 2,750 lines are compulsory, it is needed. Okay, these 2,750 lines are needed once again, and additionally we require what? Sine method, cos method, for example I'm telling tan method, and some other operations are required here. So these additional functionality is nothing but it is nearly some more 2,500 lines more I require in scientific calculator. So if we consider calculator and scientific calculator, in scientific calculator we are having more functionality, but whatever the functionality that is available inside in calculator is available in scientific calculator. Now the case is already in calculator we are having 2,750 lines. The same lines are required here. Is it necessary to write all this code once again in the scientific calculator? No. Okay, why? The reason is if we write all these 2,750 lines, what happens? First thing is space or memory, we can consider space is wasted. Next, or space is required more. Next, time is wasted. Length of the code is going to be increased. So because already it is there, 2,750 lines is there. Once again, what is the need of writing this? Sorry, 2,750 lines are there. What is the need of writing 2,750 lines once again? waste of time. First thing is what? Waste of time, and space is wasted for this writing because it is a duplication. Already it is available. Next, again, length of the code is going to be increased, so that I will not write this code. I will not duplicate this code because already it is available. Just I will write in bracket calculator. If I write in this way in our Python, all these properties are available for this scientific calculator. That means 2750 lines, which are nothing but addition operation, subtraction operation, multiplication operation, and division operation. All these four methods are available with this scientific calculator. Now, what scientific calculator has to do now? This class, what we have to do in this class now? Additional some methods are required, like sine, cos, tan, and cos it, and so on. Many things are there. So those additional operations I will write in this class. That means if we see this class, what we can understand, it is going to take the properties of one class and it is going to extend that properties. So not only these properties, it is going to add some additional properties in its class. When I have to go to this class called as calculator, when I require only operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, I have to come to this calculator class. Otherwise, so if I ask you uh, to buy a calculator, just based on the requirement, you will buy a calculator. If you require only for addition, subtraction, multiplication, and basic operations, you will buy a calculator. And if you require some for example, for BTech purpose, for M1 and M2, some calculations are there. There we require what? Scientific calculator. So for normal basic things, we will use this calculator. For complex operations, we are going to use scientific calculator. In the same way, if we require the operations, we will go to calculator class. If we require additional properties, that means what? Additional functionalities, I will go to scientific calculator. Okay. So here one thing we have to observe is what? The same code is going to be reused by the scientific calculator also. So the main advantage of this the main advantage of this inheritance is what? Reusability, first important thing. And so extending the properties of superclass. Here what I am going to do, this scientific calculator is going to extend the properties of calculator class. Okay, these 2 points we have to understand before going to our concept of inheritance. Right, now let us take a small example of this inheritance, and I will show you how the properties are going to be acquired by the child. Just I will take two classes. One class name is, I will take as a parent only, parent class I will take, and other class, in this I will take two methods. For example, define M1, and here I will take self, and in this just I will print as method 1. Print, I will take method 1. So just I will take second method also. Okay, right, method 2. Here I am going to write method 2. Now one more class we are going to create. What that class require? That class require M1 and M2, and also it wants M3 and M4. So just what it is going to do? Class child I am going to take. It require two properties like M1 and M2. Already those are available. What is the need of writing the definition once again? No need. Just just write down in bracket what? Parent. The meaning of this one is what? Whatever the properties that are available for the parent, it is available for the child also. Now here, just I am going to write define additional properties I am going to write. That means whatever the properties that are required by the child now, M1 and M2 are required. And also it requires some more additional properties other than these things. Those are, for example, M3, and I will take one more method called as M4. Here just I will write only print statements because it is a basic demonstration. So here I will write M3, and also I will take one more method called as M4. Now here scenario is what? Here I am going to create two classes. First class is having two methods, and second class requires those two methods and additionally two more methods. So I'm going to use the concept of inheritance. In our Java, we are going to use inheritance concept by using a keyword called as extends. But here we have to write class name, open parenthesis, super class name or parent class name we have to write inside a brackets, okay, inside a parenthesis. Right, now observe here carefully. Here first I will show you about parent class object. P equal to, I am going to write parent. That means P is which object now? Parent class object. So for parent class object, how many methods are available? Only M1 and M2. Just I will call P dot M1 first, and next I will call P dot M2. And now let us check whether it is going to be executed or not. Okay, it is working fine. There is no problem. Next, I will take child object C. So here I am going to take C equal to child. Now C dot M2, I am going to take, sorry, I will take M3 and C dot M4, because in child, what are the methods we are having? M3 and M4. So first I will take M3 and M4 here, okay, and I will execute now. So these two are for parent and these two are for child. Now the concept is, I want M1 and M2. So M1 and M2 are available for whom? M1 and M2 are available both for parent and child, because here we are going to use the concept of what? Inheritance. So that now child also can access these two methods. These two methods are available for this child also. So by using this C is what? Child object. By using this child object, I can access M1 and M2 also. Now observe here, just I will write C dot M1 and I can also write what? C dot M2. Okay, just I will execute. So what happens? First I have called M3, M4, so that M3 and method 3 and method 4 are executed. After that method 1 and method 2 are executed. Okay. Now one more point I have to discuss here. Here now I want to talk about a parent. This is about child, because child is having its own method, its own methods. Those are M3 and M4. And parent properties are acquired by this child by using the concept of inheritance. So child is having how many methods now? M1 is available, M2 is available, because of using the concept of inheritance, and its own methods it is having, those are M3 and M4. So that I can call M1, M2, M3 and M4 by using the child object. Now I want to talk about parent object. So what parent object can call? Already we have seen about M1 and M2. Can this parent can call M3? Let us try that. So what P is what? Parent type. Parent type is what? What are the methods of parent class? M1 and M2. But here I am trying what? M3. So let us check whether it is going to execute or not. So clearly it will say that parent object has no attribute called as M3, because M3 is whose method? M3 is child specific method. So here one statement I have to tell you about this one, that is parent methods are available to child in inheritance, okay, but child methods, or we can say child specific methods are not available for the parent. In our scenario, what is this concept? Child class is having what? M3 and M4, and parent class is having what? M1 and M2. So child object can access M1, M2, M3, M4, but parent object can access what? Only M1 and M2, because it cannot access these things. Reason is what? Parent class is not acquiring the properties of child, but child is acquiring the properties of parent. Okay. So this is the scenario of this is the concept of inheritance. Now I will take some more examples here. Here first time what happened, I have created child object. So child space, sorry, okay, first I will take about parent class. So just I will take P is an object or reference type. Okay. Okay, now see, P is which type? P is parent type. P is parent type of object, sorry, parent type reference, and object is also which type? Parent type. Parent type. That is what, if I write P equal to parent, what happens? In parent, M1 and M2 are available. We know that. In this way, it is going to create. Next, I am going to write C equal to child. C equal to child. Now, for this, how many things are available? M1, M2, M3, and M4. Okay, this is child object. So P can access what? M1, M2. C can access what? M1, M2, M3, and M4. There is no problem. But now I want to create one object called as X. Okay, this X is, let us take it as a parent type, or already parent type is there here. P equal to parent type is there. Now I want to create X equal to P. I want to write X equal to P. If I write X equal to P, what is the meaning? So X is also pointing to P. This is the meaning. So if I call X dot M1, this will be executed. X dot M2, same, this will be executed. There is no problem. That means what? Here, for the same object, I am going to make another object to point, another reference to point. Okay, right. Now, till now I have talked about only the concept of methods. Just I will take about the variables also now. Okay, right. Now just I will take a variables in a class. So in this class, I want to take a variable called as some a equal to 10. I want to talk only about this variable. And here, so just I want to give one small information. If you don't want to write anything inside a class, that means I don't want to give any body, then I have to go for the keyword called as pass. Pass indicates, pass is going to tell that this class doesn't contain anything. If you are not going to write this, for example, I will remove this. If you are not going to write anything for a class after keeping this colon, it is going to give you an syntax error, because you are saying what? I will write something for this class. So if you want to keep class empty, what we have to do? We have to use pass keyword. Okay, now observe here, there will be no syntax error because I have not printed, I have not used any object, so that output is not going to be generated. But syntactically what happens? It is correct. Okay, just here I want to create a child object. Some C equal to child object I am going to create, and just I want to call C dot A. Just I want to print a value. I can call it because I can access this a value from parent also. Sorry, from parent all the properties are available to the child because of this statement. Okay, so I'm going to get output as what? I'm going to get output as 10. Right. Now, before going to see in depth about this inheritance concept, I want to discuss about relationships. Two relationships I want to talk about. First one is a relationship. First one is a relationship. Next one is has a relationship. Okay, just briefly I want to discuss about these things. These are not such important, but we have to understand once we are going to discuss about the concept of inheritance. Okay, so what is meant by is a relationship? It is nothing but same like inheritance. Inheritance is also called as is a relationship. Okay, now we have to talk about composition and aggregation. Okay, two things we have to talk about. Otherwise, first I want to talk about is a relationship and has a relationship. Later I will go to composition and aggregation. It is not such important, but let us see. Okay, so here first, what is meant by is a relationship? It is nothing but a inheritance. Now has a relationship is a general statement. I will tell you, student is a human being. Student is a human being. Okay, here this is which relationship? Is a relationship. Okay, next, Ramu has Ramu has a talent. For example, I am writing here. It is what? It is a has a relationship. Or better example is bus has an engine or has a engine. Bus has a engine. Now here, if you see these relationships, here how many relationships are there? Is a relationship and has a relationship. What is the difference between these two? Just I will take a small example. Class, student I am going to take. Okay. Here, okay, first I will take class, human being. So human being I am going to take. So human being means what? He has some hands, brain, and so on, something properties are there. So what I am telling, student is a human being. That means whatever the properties that are available for this human being are available to the student, because student is a human being. So what I have to write? Human being here. Okay. That means what here? The concept is what? Is a relationship is nothing but inheritance. So whatever the properties human being is having that are available for the student, that means what? Student is also having the properties of human being, so that I can call student as what? I can call student as human being. As it is having the properties of human being, I can call him as a, I can call that particular student as a human being, because it is having that properties. Okay. Next, let us talk about has a relationship or bus has a engine. Now see here, if I write same scenario here, class engine I am writing. For example, this is not correct, just I am writing class bus. And here if I write engine, what is the meaning of this one? What is the meaning here? We can say that bus is a engine here, but I cannot say bus has a engine. So to say that bus is a engine, if I want to say bus is a engine, I have to go for the inheritance. But I want to talk about what? I want to talk about has a relationship. If I want to talk about has a relationship, is it correct statement? It is not correct. Then how we have to demonstrate about the concept of this has a relationship? That is, now engine means what? Just I am going to add some properties here. Next, bus is having engine. That means one of the part of this bus is what? Engine. So there I can consider what? That means what here? One thing we have to understand. In both the cases, one class is accessing the members of another class. In this what? Student is accessing the properties or methods of human being. That means that these class members are used here. In the same way, if I want to use these properties in this class, what I have to write? I have to create an object. So engine, some E equal to engine I am going to write. The meaning of this one is what? E is an object of engine. In this class, I am going to write E equal to engine. Now tell me, can I access these properties inside this class or not? Yes. For example, here it is having some working method is there. So can I call by using E dot working? Yes, I can call it. That means what here we have to observe? We have to observe the concept of a bus is going to contain an engine. That means what I can say, bus has an engine. Bus has an engine object. This one we have to understand clearly. Okay, very important concept. Just once again I will demonstrate the thing, because this is the scenario we have to know when we are talking about the concept of inheritance. Has a relationship and is a relationship. So has a means, is a means what? It is nothing but an inheritance. What is meant by has a? Has a is nothing but if a class called as engine, a class engine is there and class bus is there. If this bus is going to contain an engine object, for example, E equal to engine I am going to write. So here whatever the properties that are belonging to this engine can be accessed here. Yes, no problem. Here we are having one method called as work method, or some perform method. For example, I'm taking some methods. So can I access this here? Yes, I can access. No, there is no problem. Now what can I say here? Bus is having, or bus has a engine. So in before case, what I have done, class, human being I am going to take, and here just I am going to use the concept of what, inheritance here. How inheritance can be implemented here? By using class, person, or I have taken student, I think. Okay, student, here I will write human. In the same way, here also scenario is same, but here it is a easy relationship. All the properties of human are available for the student by using the inheritance concept. Here what I can access, who can access here? Bus can access the properties of engine by using an object. Here bus can say, bus can be what? Bus can be, sorry, bus is having an engine, or we can say bus has an engine object. So this is has a relationship. Both looks like same, but both are different. When we have to go to this scenario and when we have to go to this scenario means, whenever we want to extend the properties, whenever we want to extend the properties, that means already some properties are there, I want to add some more properties, then I have to go to the concept of inheritance or is a relationship. Then when we have to go for the concept of what we can say, has a relationship, whenever we want the same properties to be used, that means only here engine is having these two methods. If I want to use only those two methods, I don't want to use any other additional methods, I don't want to extend these methods also, just I want to do what, just I want to use these methods, then I have to go for the concept of has a relationship. Whenever we need some extending concept, I have to go to the inheritance concept. Whenever we are going to need the functionality of one class only without extending those properties, then better go for the has a relationship. Okay, now here just I want to tell about two things in a has a relationship. Those are, has a is having, I can say, aggregation, and is also called as aggregation and composition. Okay, aggregation and composition. Whenever we are going to discuss about has a relationship, we have to understand about this concept. So both looks like same here, but here the scenario is, first I will talk about a composition. Composition, in the name it says what, strongly associated. Strongly, both are associated only here, but it is what, strongly associated. Composition means. Okay, next, aggregation means weak association. Just I will discuss what is meant by this weak association and weakly associated. So what is meant by this weakly associated and what is meant by this strongly associated means, just I will take one small example. So this is an university, some university which is having some departments like ECE, CSC, mechanical and civil. For example, I am going to take these four branches. Now here, without the concept of university, will there be these departments in that university? It is not possible. Without this university, CSC will not be there, civil will not be there, EC will not be there, and mechanical will not be there. Okay, that means without existing this object, these objects are not available. This can be called as contained object, sorry, container object, because this object is containing what, this university is containing what, all these departments. So all these departments can be said to be contained objects. So without university we cannot have what, we cannot have the concept of departments. That means what, these are strongly associated. Without this, these are not there. Okay, without this, these are not there. This is called as strongly association. What is meant by, or general statement, we can say what, some people will say that without you I cannot live, without you I cannot live, I cannot live. This is called as what, strongly association, strongly association or strong relationship we can say. But some people will say what, without you also I can live, without you I can live. That means what, is this relationship is a strong relationship? No, it is what, weak relationship. Okay, right. This is what weak relationship we can consider. So here, just for example, I am going to consider about sorry, here this is okay, weak relationship, right? Now just I want to take the example for this associate aggregation also. That aggregation is same concept I will take here. On college I will take. Now I will take one college. In that college, on department I'm going to consider, that is some CSC department I'm going to consider. So here group of faculty members are there. Group of faculty members are there. Okay. Or I will take some department, MEC department I will take. Okay. So nowadays MEC is having no demand, low demand, so that these faculty from this college, from X college, MEC department was removed. For example, from one college, MEC department is going to be removed. That means what? From now in X college, the department is not available. Then what about these faculties? Without this department, they can't live. Yes, they can live. They can go to some Y college. They can go to Y college and they can survive there. That means what? Without this college also, these are going to be survived. Without this container object also, these are available here. There is no problem for this one. That means what? The association between this college container object and these contained objects are not strongly associated, or we can say those are weakly associated. Okay, so this is the concept of aggregation and composition. Anyway, these are going to come under has a relationship only. These both are about has a relationship only. So we are not going to discuss, whenever we are going to talk about has a relationship, then what we have to talk about? We have to talk about objects. Okay, so and next, whenever we are talking about is a relationship, there we have to talk about inheritance. Okay, right. So generally, whenever we are talking about has a relationship, sometimes we'll talk about inner classes also. Inner classes. Okay. Just I will tell two points about these inner classes. How this has a relationship is related to inner classes also. Okay. Now, how it is related to our inner classes means, just I am going to take class address. Address is going to contain what? It is going to contain some properties. For example, it is having some name, some properties I'm going to take. A name, after that it is going to have flat number, plot number. After that, again it requires one more. Let us take 1 minute. Okay. Here I will take biodata. For example, I will take biodata. Okay, not address. So here I will take what? In biodata, I require what? Address. So all these things will come into this address. Now here, flat number, plot number, and some other colony name, and something will be there here. Now tell me here, without this biodata field, is there any concept of address? It is not possible. Okay, that means what? Without this class, without class called as biodata, will there be a address concept? There is no need of address without biodata. Okay, otherwise better example is human is there, human being is there, class human, and inside this we are having one class called as brain. So without human being, will there be a brain? Not there. So compulsory, if it is there, this is available. That means what? This is a contained object, this is a container object. Without this will not be there. Okay, in this way also we can consider has a relationship. What we can say here? Human has a brain. Human has a brain. In this way I can consider, or I can also consider like a objects also. So I think now it was clear for you when we have to go for the concept of has a relationship and when we have to go for the concept of is a relationship. Whenever the same properties, that means whatever the properties that are already available in one class, if you want to access only those properties, then better go for the concept of object, then better to go for the concept of has a relationship. I want to take the properties of one class and I want to add my own properties, some additional properties I want to add. then better go for the concept of is a relationship, which is nothing but inheritance. Okay, right. Now let us take some more examples regarding to this inheritance. So that is what inheritance concept, not only for methods and data variables, it will be applicable for the constructors also. Just I will take a small example for constructor also. So just I will take a class parent, and in this I will take a constructor. So define. So for constructor, we are going to use a special name called as underscore underscore init underscore underscore. Here, just I am going to write one more. I want to take one variable. So I am going to take some x here. So self dot x equal to x I am going to take. Okay. So this is a class. Now in this class, so I want to take child class called as child and parent. Here I am not going to get anything here. Just I want to pass one value to the child. Okay. Now observe carefully here. You may observe that there is nothing inside a child class, but you are creating a child class and passing 10. Where it is going to be passed? It is going to pass it is superclass constructor. The reason is what? Here we are getting the properties of superclass to the child class, so that this is also available for the child class. So that this 10 will be passed here, and here self dot x equal to x is nothing but what? In child object x value will be 10, and I will also call c dot a because a value is available here, so I can call it. There is no problem here. The scenario, so just I will pass here 20. So the value of a will be what? The value of a will be 10, and I also print the value of x. So the value of x will be what? The value of x will be 20. So c dot x I will print. So just in this example, what we have to understand? We have to understand the concept of what are the properties that can be acquired in the concept of inheritance. So data will be, variables are available, methods are available, and also constructor is also available for the child. This is the concept I want to tell by this example. Okay. Now let us see the types of inheritances in Java. Sorry, Python. So very interesting concept, this inheritance. So right, now let us see about the types of inheritance. So types of inheritance, there are many types of inheritances, but among them I am going to take important types. So types of inheritances. So first one is single inheritance. First one is single inheritance. Next one is multiple inheritance. Next, third one is multi-level inheritance. And fourth one is hierarchical inheritance. Hierarchical. Next one is cyclic inheritance, and last one I can consider hybrid inheritance. So generally cyclic will not be seen, but generally I want to show you what is meant by cyclic inheritance, so that I have written here. So before going to take the example for each and every inheritance type, just I want to tell you by showing a diagrams. Single inheritance, that is nothing but acquiring the properties of one class by another class. So here C is one class, P is one class. Here what happens? C is acquiring the properties of P. Arrow mark should be on in this way only. Okay. And next, second one, multiple inheritance. Multiple means what? Multiple parents are there. P1, P2, and so on. For example, Pn. And there will be only one child will be there. Child is going to acquire the properties of multiple parents. So this concept is called as multiple inheritance. Okay. Next, if you are going to consider third one, that is multi-level. Here multiple levels are there. So first I am going to take some P1. So here we have tried in this way. It is not compulsory, just I'm going to write P1. Next P2, next P3 I am going to write, or we can write any names. Just I want to, I am using P1, P2, P3, P4. So here what happens? P2 is acquiring the properties of P1, P3 acquiring the properties of P2, P4 is acquiring the properties of P3. Here all these are what? Levels are there. We can call this one as what? How many levels are there? Multi levels are there. So I can call this inheritance as what? Multi-level inheritance. So here let us consider it is having M1, it is having M2, it is having M3, it is having M4, for example. These are methods, for example. So what happens? P1 is having only M1 method. P2 is extending what? P1. That means P2 will have what? Its own method, that is M2, and also it is acquiring the property of from P1. That is what? M1 is also available. So for this P2, how many methods are available? M1 and M2. Now P3 is acquiring the properties of P2. Already P2 is having what? M1 and M2. And P3 is having one more method called as M3. So P3 is having three methods, M1, M2, and M3. And next, P4 is having how many methods? P4 is having its own method is only one, and it is going to acquire the properties of whom? P3. Already P3 is having M1, M2, and M3. So finally, P4 is having all the properties that those are M1, M2, M3, and M4. Next, hierarchical. So hierarchical is nothing but, for example, I will take only one parent class. So it is going to be acquired by multiple childs. So C1, C2, C3, and so on. Okay, and Cn. Right. This is about hierarchical. Next, what about cyclic? Cyclic is nothing but, let us take A. A is going to acquire the properties of A. Is it possible? First thing is, it is not possible. How A can acquire the properties of A itself? So this is called as cyclic inheritance. Or we can say A is acquiring the properties of B, and B is acquiring the properties of, and B is acquiring the properties of A. B is acquiring properties of A, and A is acquiring properties of B. Is it possible? It is not possible. So this concept is called as cyclic inheritance. Cyclic inheritance, which is not possible in Python. Not possible. Anywhere it is not possible. In Java also it is not possible. Not possible in Python. Next, sixth one is hybrid. What is meant by hybrid? More than one type. For example, here I am going to take C1, C2, and here some parent is there, and it is acquired by some other class called as P2, P3, and this is acquired by one more class called as P4. So here if you observe this scenario, so this is what? Multiple inheritance, and this is what? Hierarchical inheritance, and this is what? Multi-level inheritance. So here what is the concept? In only the scenario is what? Hybrid, which contains multiple inheritances, not only single inheritance. That means, is it a multiple, sorry, is it multiple inheritance? Yes, it is multiple inheritance. Is it hierarchical? Yes, it is what? Multi-level. That means what? Only one program is containing different hierarchies. So that is called as hybrid inheritance. Okay. So one hybrid is nothing but what? It contains more than one type of inheritances, is called as hybrid inheritance. So for each and everything, every concept, just I will take a small example and I will demonstrate about single inheritance, multiple, multi-level, hierarchical, cyclic, and hybrid also. So hybrid is very important. For this hybrid, I will take one class to explain the concept of hybrid, because internally how it is going to be done, I will demonstrate clearly. Okay, right. Now just I will go to single inheritance. So this is nothing but what? Single inheritance. Here class parent is there. Here I will take one method. Just I will take define M1, and I am going to take self. Just I will print of method 1. I am going to print. Here what happens? Class C is going to acquire the properties of class parent. One class is acquiring properties from another class. This concept is called as what? Inheritance, single inheritance. Okay. Just I will call this one C dot M1. So what will be the output of this one? Method 1. So in this scenario, what happens? One parent is there, one child is there. Child is acquiring the properties from only one parent. The concept is what? Single inheritance. Next, I want to talk about multiple inheritance. Multiple means what? Multiple parents has to be there. So parent 1 I am taking, and I will take parent 2. In parent 1 I will take one method, and in parent 2 I will take one more method. So in Java, this is not possible. This is not possible in Java. Okay, multiple inheritance is not possible in Java. The reason also I will tell you. So here I am writing parent 1, parent 2 I am going to write. So here I don't want to write anything. Just I will call C dot child, and C can access what? M1. It can access M1, and it can also access what? M2. In method 2, just I will write what? M2 here. Here there will be no problem. We will get output as method 1 and method 2. Just before seeing some more in detail about this concept, I want to tell why it is not possible, why multiple inheritance is not possible in Java. So there what happens? There I am going to take, for example, class A I am going to take. Here I am having one method called as void M1. Okay, right. Let us take here class B I am going to take. Here also same method I am going to take. For example, it may be possible. I may take. Right. Now, if class C is going to extend, if C extends A comma B, okay. Now C contains what? C contains the properties of A and B. That means what? Here I am printing some hi. Just I am printing what? Hi. Here I am printing hello, for example. Here for this C, how many methods are available? M1 from A, M1 from B. If I am going to create some object, that is what? C space some x equal to new C. It is in Java. In this way, we are going to create the object in Java. If I call x dot M1, now observe carefully. So C is x is which object? C's object. So x dot M1 means the C is having how many M1s? Two M1s are there. So which M1 it is going to call? So it cannot call one. It cannot give the priority to any one of the M1 here. The reason is, so there is no concept of priorities here. It is going to be in ambiguity state. It goes to what? Ambiguity state. So we are going to get what here? Ambiguity. It will go to ambiguous state. Okay. So that it is not possible in our Java. How it is possible? If the same scenario I have taken in our Python, how it is possible? Let us see now. So same concept I will take here. Same M1 is there here. Just same M1 I will take here. So the definition I am going to change. Here I am printing M1. Here I am printing M2. Now tell me, child object is having what? Child object is having the concept of two methods. It may have two methods. For example, I am telling. So child is acquiring the properties of parent 1 and parent 2. Parent 1 is what? M1. Parent 2 is having what? M1. Both are having. But here if I call c dot M1, which one is going to be executed? Here in our Python, it is following some order. That order is nothing but whatever the name we are giving first, that method is going to be considered. So what will be the output of this program? Method 1, but not method 2. Just if I change this one to parent 2 and this one to parent 1, which one will be considered? Parent 2 M1 will be considered. That means what? Answer will be what? Method 2. Okay. So answer will be what? Method 2. So it is possible in our Python. Okay. All right. Now let us go to one more concept, third one, that is parent 3 I will take. Just I will change the names M2 here. I will go to one more class called as what? Parent 2. So otherwise I will take some class parent 3 for example. So here this is parent 2 is going to extend, or otherwise here I will write 1 minute please. Here I will write child and which is extend parent, which is extending parent. Here I will change it to parent. And here I am going to take one more class called as subchild. Okay, name is what? Subchild, which is extending child. Okay, now here I am going to define one more method called as M3. In this I am going to take a self. In this just I want to print as a method 3, as method 3, method 3. Now observe here, I don't want to use this concept now. Right, now just I am creating what? Child object. Child object means what? This object. So it can call how many methods? It can call only two methods because it is extending only parent. Parent is having M1 and child is having M2. So child object can access M1 and M2. Now let us consider here. I will take parent. First I will demonstrate about parent class, and parent object I will take. So this P can access how many methods? Only one, because P is which object? Parent object. So parent class contains what? Only one method. It can access only M1. So we are going to get output as method 1. If I try to access M2, is it possible to access? It is not possible to access because parent class is not having the attribute called as M2. Okay. Now let us see next concept, that is what? Child class. Just I will talk about next class, that is child class. So child, that means what? This object, it is having what? It is having its own method called as M2, and it is extending the properties of parent 1. That means child object can execute what? It can access what? It can access M1. There is no problem. We will get the output. Next, if you are going for M2, will there be any problem? There will be no problem. So it will execute what? M2. Now I will go to subchild, this one. So I will take C equal to subchild I am going to take, and if it is a subchild, how many methods it can access? So as child is having two methods, one is from M1 and one is from parent it has taken, that is M1, and it is having M2. So totally child class is having two methods, and this subchild is getting the properties from whom? Child. That means this subchild is having how many properties? Two properties, M1 and M2, and also it is having M3. So totally it can access how many? Three methods. Those are C dot M1 it can access, M2 it can access, and also it can access M3. So now see, so M1, method 1, method 2, and method 3 it can access. Okay. So this is about multi-level. Next I want to show you about hierarchical. Hierarchical means what? One class, there is a parent class is there, multiple child classes are there. Here I will take child 1, and here I will take child 2. So child 2 is extending the properties of parent. Okay, right. Now see, here first I will take what? C equal to child 1 I will take. So child 1 is having same properties, and child 2 is also having same. That means what? Just I will, okay, it is having what? It's for child 1 is having its own method, and it's taking M1, and child 2 is having its own methods, and it is taking M1. Okay, if I call C dot M1, is it possible to execute? Yes, there is no problem. We are going to get the output. In the same, if I take this one as a child 2, if I change it, what happens? Is child 2 is having the properties of parent? Yes, it is having. So that it can execute what? C dot M1 is possible. Now the concept is, if C is what? C is which object now? Child 2 object. If I used to call the concept of, okay, now see here, let us see C dot M2. C dot M2. C is which type? Child 2 type. Is it possible to access M2 by using C? C is what? Child 2 type. Is there any M2 method here? Not there. It is having which methods? It is having M3, and it is taking the properties of parent class also, that is M1. Okay, so M2 is not possible here. So we are going to get what? We are going to get an error. In the same, if I take child 1 here, if I take child 1, and if I try to access M3, is it possible? See here, M3 belongs to what? Child 2. But child 1 is having what? Only M2, and it is acquiring properties of parent. That is what? M1. So we are going to get what? Error. Okay. So this is about hierarchical. Only one parent class we are having, multiple child classes are there. This is the concept of what? Hierarchical inheritance. Next, I will show you the concept of cyclic inheritance. So now first I will take only one class. So class parent or some class A I will take. So class A, I am going to write, and I am going to write what? A only here. Is it possible? It is not possible. So clear it will say what? Name A is not defined. If I define A once again here, what happens? Let us see. Just here, okay, I will not write here. Just I will write here class A I will write, and here I am going to write inheritance concept. So just here I will remove this one. Now let us see whether it is possible or not. Okay. So see, it is going to take here. Why it is going to take? Reason is A is going to extend A because it is not having any properties. Okay, but same class properties cannot be taken. That means class A and, okay, observe this, class A, if I write in this way, it is not possible. Okay, so see, it is not possible, right? Now next scenario, first I am taking class A, and here I will write class B, is extending class B, and here I am going to write what, class B, and in brackets what I will write, in bracket I will write class A. So just here I will write define some method 2, I will write some self, and here I want to print some message like method 2. Okay, method 2 I am going to write. Now observe here what happens. So see, name B is not defined because what happens, so here I am using B, where I define B here, after this class I am defining. Okay, if I write this one above, let us consider, if I write this one above, what will be the error we are going to get? If I write this statement first, see here, if I write this class first, now it will say what, A is not defined. It will say what, A is not defined. See, because before using that I have to define about that particular class. B is using what, A's properties. Where is A? After here we are having A. So if I write this one here, where is B? Before defining class we cannot use that. So directly I can say what, the concept of cyclic inheritance is not possible in Python. Not only in Python, in Java also it is not possible. Okay, so next one we have to discuss about hybrid inheritance. So what is meant by hybrid inheritance? There we can consider different scenarios. Just I will take one more session for that, especially for that hybrid inheritance. So before seeing the concept of hybrid inheritance, I have to show you some more concepts like super function I have to discuss about, and later after completing super function I will talk you about this hybrid inheritance. In this hybrid inheritance there is one order is there, we have to follow some order. So we are using the concept of how the method resolution is going to take place. That concept has to be discussed, which is a very huge concept. It will take one session for that. Okay, so in next session I will discuss about super function and remaining concepts of inheritance, and after completing that session I will go to hybrid inheritance, and there I will discuss method resolution order also, and there I will discuss one more algorithm called as C3 algorithm. Okay, thank you.